Hi guys, and welcome to another review. And this time I'm trying to do something a little bit different, something that you don't see too often, which is kind of trying to choose IEMs which are more the IEMs that go under the radar, that pass under the radar, not only recent ones, but also more, slightly older ones, and compare them with two IEMs which have been getting a lot of traction lately. And just so that kind of, position or these oldies with these newer ones which are not so popular with the ones which are popular. And I thought it would be an interesting thing to actually show everyone. Anyway, what do I have here? What will I be kind of comparing? Venture Electronics, the BE, the BIE, bonus IE. This is the original one. I have had this one for over 2 years now. Fixed cable. The cable, not exactly the friendliest of cables in terms of, it has very much its own life, but the shells themselves are absolutely stunning. It's kind of got this bullet style, as you can see, obviously. Very well built, very well constructed. It's like a tank. This thing's not going to break. The cable, like I said, it's not a bad quality cable in terms of its strength. You can feel that it's got a good strength to it, but it's just got its own life to it, and it's a little bit difficult to wind up and so on and so forth. And this is one of those oldies that I've decided to put in this comparison. Next to it, CCA, CRA. I mean, so much has already been said about it that I really don't need to talk too much. Fantastic sounding IM. Probably. I'm gonna say it's probably the best IM that KZ and CRA makes, that CCA makes currently. Why? Because for $15, it's just absolutely unbelievable what you can get out of this IEM. Next to it, we have another oldie, something which not many of you might know about, which is the UrbanFun hybrid. It's again also bullet style IM, nice build quality. It runs a DD and a hybrid and a BA, in a hybrid configuration. This one has also got a fixed cable as opposed to the CRA, which is a detachable cable. So it's also got a fixed cable, just like the Venture Electronics. Again, the cable's got very much its own life, although it's nice and sturdy and so on and so forth. Next to it, the Smabat NCO2. Once again, a bullet-styled IM, has got you can see when you start getting used to IEMs and so on and so forth. Even if you didn't have a brand attached to it, you can pick up an IEM and you can see the signature of the company. And you pick this up and immediately, even if it didn't say there Smabat, you could see this is a Smabat by the small little details, the way the grill there of the vent, this grill here, is done. This is a Smabat, period. It's something that's difficult to explain without you actually experiencing, okay? Next to it, an IM which I recently reviewed as well, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, which is the Whizzer BS1. And I enjoyed it because it's an interesting interpretation, using a huge driver, 13.6 or 13.8 millimeter. I'm not if I recall properly. But anyway, it's got a really nice huge driver in a open back kind of configuration, with also the front of the driver loaded in a differentiated way, in a different way, and interesting proposition. Once again, cable is fixed and a little bit of not exactly the nicest of cables, a little bit microphonic. And finally, on this corner here, the Tripowin layer, which is alongside the CCA, the CRA, one of the IEMs that lately has been getting a lot of traction. Why? Well, because first of all, it's got a very good price for what is on offer. Metal shell, and it's got a very different signature, very the same way that KZ tried doing with the ZX Pro, and we're going to put aside now the issues involved with it, but the same way that KZ tried doing with the ZX Pro, which was offer a kind of a signature which is more mature and had the input obviously of clinical. Tripowin with this IM, the layer, tried to do something which was totally different to the TCO1 which they had done earlier, which was also single dynamic, but was definitely very much a V-shaped kind of signature. This has got a more mature type of signature, more neutral, bright kind of signature. Anyway, these are our contenders, and I want to start by saying that there's no winners, there's no losers. Every single one of these IEMs has its qualities, its positive points, its negative points, and then it's down to you as the user to, if you have the ability to try them out, decide which one you want. I will give you my own opinion on what I would choose personally, but this is one thing that I just want to make very clear. There's no winners, there's no losers. Every single one of them are very good IEMs for what they are and for what they are offering. Okay. In terms of price, well, there's a big scope of price here, like I mentioned. We're talking about, well, starting out with the Venture Electronics, with the BE, it's around $25. The CCA is about $15. The UrbanFun Hybrid is about $40, give or take. Actually, currently it's unavailable. They say it will be on stock again, but currently it's unavailable. The Smabat NCO, again around the $35-$40 mark. The Whizzer about $25 to $30, and the Lay about $25 to $30 as well. So you have a very wide range of prices here, and for the most, all of them have got a build quality which reflects that price. I mean, metal shell, metal shell, metal shell, metal shell, metal shell, everything here. The one that has the cheapest and the frailest construction and built without the shadow of a doubt is obviously the well, not obviously, but it's the CCA in this case. It could have been anyone, but the CCA has got the one that has the cheapest construction. I personally wouldn't have I wouldn't mind paying another $10 with this kind of sound that the CCA offers. I wouldn't have minded paying another $10 and having gotten a nicer shell, perhaps even a metal shell. I think the CRA is an IM that deserves that. It actually deserves that a pro version come out, so let's call it that way, with a slight touch improving the signature and an improvement in terms of the build quality. In terms of fit, the ones that, well, there's two groups here, and if you notice and if you're looking carefully, you will see you have bullet, and then you have this more traditional style, and this kind of a hybrid in between the two. So in terms of fit, definitely the CCA fits very nicely. It doesn't fall off. The same thing applies with the Tripowin, with the layer, and the same thing actually with the Whizzer. The Whizzer was one of the surprises, to be honest with you. Bullets, well, they were always going to be an issue. So fit is not going to be their strong point. In terms of isolation, obviously the ones that fit better will isolate better, and in that aspect, the CCA and the Tripowin are the better ones. So what about signature? What about sound? What do they basically sound like, and so on and so forth? Well, you have ones which have got a definitely a V-shaped signature, ones which have a V-shaped signature which has been more polished up, ones which have a more brightish signature. So you have basically a wide range of signatures here, and all of them have been well done. They've been tastefully done. So in my opinion at least, there's no signature here which is wrong. Okay, it then will depend on what is your music style, what is the music that you prefer to listen to, and that will be your choice. The Venture Electronics, definitely a V-shaped, loads of sub-bass emphasis, good mid-bass. The mids are fine. I mean, sometimes overly warm, a little bit darkish, so it's not as bright as perhaps above 5-6K. You start noticing that it kind of goes down in energy that it has in those frequencies, but nonetheless, very nice, pleasing sound, very correct, very nice tonality. It's a nice IM for those that are not treble fans. CCA CRA, a very tastefully done V-shaped signature with very nice sub-bass emphasis. Some complain that the mids are a little bit recessed as compared to the rest of the frequencies. I personally didn't find that. Then again, it depends on the music that you listen to. And I actually think the CRA has got a very, very nice sound. One of the other strong points about the CRA is that it has a lot of extension up top. And I think this is down to the fact that the diaphragm used here on the CRA is an ultra thin diaphragm, which not only enables there to be nice extension up top, but also being nice and light. It has given the bass, although it's sub-bass focused, it's given the bass a nice quickness, a nice texture, which is very unusual at this price point. UrbanFun Hybrid, one of the surprises out of the whole bunch. A surprise because I had forgotten how good it actually sounded, to be honest. I mean, I've had it forever as well. And the truth is, it's a very, very nice sounding IM. It's got a V-ish, W-ish kind of signature. And everything kind of just, everything just matches up nicely. It's got warm bass, but it's nice. It's a pleasant bass. It's not muddy or anything. Fine, I would have liked to have seen female vocals a little bit cleaner, but again, let's always not forget one thing. We must keep in mind the price point at what we are, and keep that as a premise as well to how we evaluate and what we are expecting out of an IM. So, very nice sound. It's nice, and the treble it's clean. Yes, the BA does work. And the treble is clean. It's detailed. Very nice. I mean, very, very surprising I am. NCO from Smabat, NCO2 from Smabat, probably the more pronounced V signature I am alongside with the BE. Where the extremes are the focus. Definitely. Nice bass, full. Apparently it's using an LCP driver. And I'm saying apparently because there's a little bit of confusion between what's on the box and what is in the actual publications available on the internet. So, nice bass. A little bit slow at times, but nice bass, nice clean treble. It kind of reminds me of a thicker sounding CRA, if that will put things into context. And then finally here we have the two, let's call them the two dark horses, in the sense that they have two very different signatures to the rest of the IEMs here. This is a neutralish bright signature, but in my opinion the layer is a little bit too thin. At least with my music, it's a little bit too thin. It just sounds like if I can make, I don't know if it just sounds like it dieted too hard. Let's put it that way. And I'm using now in a comparison with my other, with my main job, which is a personal trainer. This just sounds like somebody that's been dieting too hard, and they're looking good, but they're just looking a little bit flat. Some of you might not understand what by that mean, but they just need to fill up a little bit, and that's what the layer is for me. It sounds good, it's clean, it's detailed. For the price, pretty nice, pretty decent, but it's lacking some substance. The Whizzer is an IM which again surprised me. So I would say, out of the IMs that I've been listening to lately, the Whizzer has been one of the biggest surprises. The UrbanFun was a surprise just because I had forgotten how good it was. When you have so many IMs as I am lucky enough to have, you just don't listen to things or all the things that you have all the time. And I'm not going to lie, the last time I listened to the UrbanFun was probably about a year ago. But back to the Whizzer. It's a darkish sounding IM, okay? Probably very, it's about as dark as the BE. So there's not much treble detail above 8K, let's put it that way, but it sounds very. It's very. You have to listen to the Whizzer to actually understand. It's got that kind of a sound which the more you listen, the more you like it, and you say, wow, but this actually sounds really decent, and it's very engaging. It's very, there have been some people which complained a little bit about it being overly too bright in the 2-3K area. Personally, and with the one that I have here in my hand, I have another set in the way which I will measure and see how it is. Personally, I didn't have any of those issues, and I found that I am just perfect for what it is. Perfect. It's got a very, you listen to it, and it's kind of a mix between listening to an earbud, the normal earbuds, and an IM. You can feel there's like a mix of the two worlds there. So technically, I found it quite engaging actually in terms of soundstage and so on. So a quick recap: V signature, kind of darkish, V-ish signature with maybe the mids a little bit recessed as compared to the rest, but very tastefully done. Kind of a W signature, everything again very coherent, very nicely done. V signature with a focus on the extremes of the frequencies. I would say a neutral warm signature, okay, and a neutral bright on the layer. That's basically kind of an overview of all of them. Technically, some of them obviously are superior to the others, but let's not forget what they are. I would say that the two that stand out for me the most in terms of their overall technical capabilities are the CRA and the Whizzer. Having said that, there's not huge differences here. Probably one of the ones that has the best detailed retrieval here will probably be the layer and the UrbanFun. It's got pretty decent detailed retrieval as well. Soundstage and imaging, I would give it to the Whizzer, with the layer and the CRA and the UrbanFun not that far behind. Yeah, and that's basically it. In terms of timbre and tonality, which are the ones that sound the most correct or the most, I think they are all basically very equal, to be honest with you. Perhaps the layer, like I said earlier, is the one that's a little bit thin sounding. And perhaps the ones which are just a little bit more correct as compared to the rest, I would say, are again the Whizzer. Probably the one that has the nicest tonality and the one that's the more realistic one. Having said that, that doesn't mean that these ones are that far behind. The CCA, the UrbanFun, or the Smabat, or even the VE. They just this one may be a little bit on the more thickish side. So maybe this one first, these three second, and then this one a little bit thicker, and then this one a little bit on the thinner side in terms of tonality and timbre. And yeah, that's kind of an overview. Like I said in the beginning, this is not there's a winner, there's a loser. No, it's kind of just wanting to you guys know, what is there, what are the unsung heroes, let's put it that way, both old and new. Do they make sense to purchase if you have one or the other or not? I think that, for example, the VE is one of those IMs that for the price, it justifies owning it because it really has something which it's got a character which is very, very, very engaging, okay, very captivating. The CRA is a no-brainer. I mean, for the price, just buy two, it's a very, very nice IM for what it is. Very nice, very nice. Again, another one which, if you are lucky enough to get and would be a worthwhile purchase, is the UrbanFun. Yes, there's issues with the cable, but it's not removable. It could be, but there's a magic here which I think is quite intoxicating. The NCO, if you're looking for a more viche kind of signature, fun, nice bass, and so definitely worthwhile purchase. The Whizzer again is one of those IEMs that I think is a worthwhile purchase. Really, I really do. This is definitely a worthwhile purchase. These two very worthwhile purchase. In the sense that it just brings something so different in terms of its sound and signature, which makes it something that, yes, should be considered. You should listen to it. And the layer, for those that perhaps are more, details and like a lighter sound, more vocals focused, yes, I guess this would be the one to go for. Out of all of these, if I was to buy now one, if I didn't have, and my budget was up to $40, which one would I buy? Interesting question. Considering, fit, cable, overall sound, outright the one that would be the most obvious or the most sensible choice would be the CCA. The fact that I can swap the cable, I can live with the build quality, which is not the best, but I can live with the build quality. The CCA, which is okay. If I don't mind the fact that the cable, or if I didn't really care about the cable not being removable, which one of the others, which one would I then buy? Well, the layer is out of the question. I just, the BE is good. It's like I said, it's a worthwhile buy if you can find it for the price. I would probably go for the Whizzer. And yeah, these two would probably be the ones that I think would make the most choice in purchasing. This one because it's a very good deal for the price. This one because it's different and it's just got this. Like I said, guys, if you really have a chance, listen to this. Play around a little bit with the tips, and once you get the tips right, I think you will not regret listening to this IEM. It is really, really something special. Okay. The NCO, I think that the biggest issue with the NCO is the price, being up, really up into around the $40 mark. You get the same, if not better, in most things out of the CRA. So there's nothing to justify this big jump in price. And the UrbanFun, the issue with the UrbanFun is more the availability. It's now not available, but it's not the first time that it's not now available. It's also an older IM. I don't know if they're going to carry on making it for much longer. But for a hybrid, not bad. Not a bad IM. I wish only that it really had a detachable cable. Anyway, guys, this is, like I said, it was just I wanted to bring this to you guys and just show you some things that are out there still and are currently available that not many know of. All right. Anyway, take care. Bye-bye. See you soon.